Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Tira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Kunja Bihari
Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namahu Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Asya Chadishatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Tasya Chadishatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. And once again, we're coming back to the Srimad Bhagavatam and our Srimad Bhagavatam lecture, Wednesday morning lecture. And we're continuing our reading. And we're having some new technical facilities, so the lecture was a little bit late this morning. But we're trying our best to somehow cope with technology. There's some delay here, but I guess that's fine. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandana Shalakaya Shakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yes, so this morning we're coming to a famous verse. We're still in the first canto of the second chapter. This is the 6th verse. You might have heard this before. Savai pumsha paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaje ahaitu ki aprati hata yayatma suprasidati. Right, and the translation is as follows. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this statement, Sri Sutta Goswami answers the first question of the sages of Naimisharanya. There's a little kitchen background, so please bear with us. The sages asked him to summarize the whole range of revealed scriptures and present the most essential part so that the fallen people, or the people in general, might easily take it up. The Vedas prescribe 2 different types of occupation for the human being. One is called pravritti marg, or the path of sense enjoyment, and the other is called nivritti marg, or the path of renunciation. The path of enjoyment is inferior, and the path of sacrifice for the supreme cause is superior. The material existence of the living being is a diseased condition of actual life. Actual life is spiritual existence, or Brahmabhuta existence, where life is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Material existence is temporary, but devotional service to the Supreme Lord, which leads one to eternal, blissful, and all-cognizant life, is called the superior quality of occupation. This is sometimes polluted when mixed with the inferior quality. For example, adoption of devotional service for material gain is certainly an obstruction to the progressive path of renunciation. Renunciation or abnegation for the ultimate good is certainly a better occupation than enjoyment in the diseased condition of life. Such enjoyment only aggravates the symptoms of disease and increases its duration. Therefore, devotional service to the Lord must be pure in quality, i.e., without the least desire for material enjoyment. One should, therefore, accept the superior quality of occupation in the form of devotional service of the Lord without any tinge of unnecessary desire, furtive action, or philosophical speculation. This alone can lead one to perpetual solace in his service. We have purposely denoted dharma as occupational because the root meaning of the word dharma is that which sustains one's existence. A living being's sustenance of existence is to coordinate his activities with his eternal relation with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Krishna is the central pivot of living beings, and he is the all-attractive living entity, or eternal form, amongst all of the living beings or eternal forms. Each and every living being has his eternal form in the spiritual existence, and Krishna is the eternal attraction for all of them. Krishna is the complete whole, and everything else is his part and parcel. The relation is one of the servant and the served. It is transcendental and is completely distinct from our existence in material existence. This relation of servant and the served is the most congenial form of intimacy. One can realize it as devotional service progresses. Everyone engage himself in that transcendental loving service of the Lord, even in the present conditional state of material existence. That will gradually give one the clue to actual life and please him to complete satisfaction. All right, so we'll go back to the verse, scrolling a little bit here. Savai pumsa paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaje haituki aprati hata yayatma suprasidati. Translation is again, the supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Kam karoti vachalam pam gun langai tigrim yat kripatam aham bande Sri Gurun Dinataranam. Yes. So, we are in a different venue this morning. We're in the ashram. We have some nice guests. So then we're speaking from here, and you have that wonderful kitchen background. With us today also, which is very nice. Things are going on. Life is going on. We're alive. We're alive. And our deepest supreme identity is to be alive. We're souls, living entities, sparks of life. We're forever will take the remnants as prashad, the mercy of the Lord. So our existence must be sustained on all levels. However, the supreme sustenance on the deepest level, on the level of the soul, is described here to be that by which men and women, of course, can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. The transcendent Lord is Sri Krishna. And Prabhupada uses this word devotional service. So there is an indication of the servants and the served. And according to the Vedic version, we are the servants. Everyone is a servant, and Krishna is the master. He is the served one. And to come to that point in life, one connects oneself with Krishna, or reconnects somehow in this living a life in this material atmosphere. We have become disconnected from our from Krishna, from our real heritage, from our real sustenance. Right? We're starving. We're starving. We're not connected with Krishna. Therefore, we're starving in the material world. And we can see, as described in this verse, that whatever happiness we may perceive is actually just the mitigation of the miseries. So sometimes there's a fluctuation in life. Yesterday I was looking up on Instagram, and I saw the great Keshav Maharaj. He had a small video, and he confirmed that life goes up and down. There are ups and downs in life, right? So sometimes we might struggle, and sometimes there's less struggle. But there's always a struggle, and on the material platform. The material platform being our very strong identification with the body and the mind. We're here now in this world, and we're looking to the Bhagavatam for some guidance. And we're finding it. Because here it is said that if you want to sustain your spiritual existence, you must turn to the devotional service of Krishna. And in this day and age, the way to approach Krishna has been simplified by Krishna. Krishna knows the struggles of life. Krishna knows our heart. He is the super soul within the heart of every living being. So he knows our heart, and he knows our struggle. And it is said that as soon as we approach him for shelter, then Krishna will start to arrange everything so that we might again refocus and come back to our spiritual identity, contrary to our false identity now with these bodies. There is a spiritual identity, our soulful existence, and to come back to that reality, devotional service is needed. And it's also described that to completely satisfy the self, to become completely happy, this service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted. So, this is the real goal of the transcendentalist. This is the real goal of the devotee, to come to that point of unmotivated, uninterrupted service. And of course, I may speak for myself, we may not be on that level yet. Somehow we may have some other motivations. We may have some remnants of desires still in our heart. It's common, it's very common. And one may have it to a lesser or bigger extent. It depends on the individual. But the real point is that if we can come back to the analogy of the fan, I love that analogy. The fan gives a nice breeze, right? It's going on and on. And the blades are rotating, right? But, and the rotation of the blades in this metaphor is the cycle of birth and death. So it's going on, rotating endlessly. Why? Because it's plugged in to the current of the material world, the false identification with the body and mind as the self. Now, once you come to the point of accepting the path of devotional service, even in the very beginning, what happens is that you unplug the fan, right? You unplug the fan. However, because the fan has been going so strongly with the current, even though unplugged from the electricity, where we accepted Krishna as the Supreme Lord. We want to be devotees. We came to a point where we said, all right, Krishna, you're the one, you're the Supreme, I'm your servant. Please guide me, please help me. However, the blades will, just due to the power of the current, the blades will continue to rotate for some time. However, eventually it will stop. The cycle of birth and death will end, and we will eventually return to our inherent spiritual existence and become completely satisfied. Satisfaction is within, it is not without. Everything which is needed to sustain one's spiritual existence is already inherent within the spiritual being, right? There is no need for any
transformation,
any sort of external equipment or any outside factors. And this might seem to be amazing, right? How can it be? I mean, we need a house, we need clothes, we need food, we need the sun. Imagine if the sun would go out, the world would end, right? But it is said that these things are not really needed. The existence of the spiritual living being is eternal. The sun is not, right? The sun comes into existence and then eventually goes out. The spiritual spark is never snuffed out. That fire will always burn. And to sort of tap into that reality, devotional service is needed. Now, the approach to, the practical application of service will change with time and circumstance. So, in this present age of Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma, or the means of sustenance in this age, is the Sankirtan Yagya, the chanting of Hare Krishna and the spreading of the chanting of Hare Krishna. So, we should chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is our means of sustenance, and it's even seen in the lives of the great devotees that they sustain themselves simply by this one endeavor. Right? We can see in the life of the great Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur, a contemporary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He would just chant, right? Chant all day, spending, almost every hour of the day just chanting Hare Krishna, and since he was born of a Muslim heritage, that created some friction in his local community. So the local government they wanted to kill him, and they really endeavored to do so, dragging him through, so many marketplaces, beating him, whipping him. But Haridas Thakur would not die. His existence was sustained through the chanting, to the point of the soldiers, the Muslim soldiers, begging him, "My dear Haridas Thakur, you're not dying. You won't die." And there's a problem, because if you don't die, we've been given the task to kill you by our local government, but you won't die. And that means that since you won't die, and that was our task, then we'll die. We'll be punished for not being able to complete our task. So of course then Haridas Thakur said, "Oh, so you want me to die? All right." So then through the chanting of Hare Krishna, he went into a deep mystic trance, and his body became like that of a dead man, and all the life symptoms became invisible. However, if one would minutely check, there was some slight breathing, very slight. However, this was undetected, and the soldiers, they could go to their government, and they could inform them that their task was completed, and the government would say then, "Don't even bury him like a good Muslim. Throw him in the river like a rejected Hindu." So the body was thrown in a river, and it floated for some time down with the stream, and then eventually Haridas Thakur, he came out of his trance. He climbed up on the bank, and then he came walking back into the village, to the astonishment of the local authorities. And then they realized, he's a pir, he's a saint. So then they did not dare to trouble him. So we can see this can be like a small example of the power of spiritual sustenance, the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and how it will sustain one even beyond the capacities of the body and mind. So of course this is a great relief I can speak for myself, and there is definitely some troubles in life with the body and mind. Life can be, life can be cruel sometimes. This prospect of death, the death of the body, it is which vanquishes all one's current relationships. For example, in my current existence, I am a parent, so I have children and a relationship. And at some point in time, unknown to me, this will end. And the fact of knowing that can cause some distress in the mind. And then hearing these stories of the great devotees and how they sustain their spiritual existence and how they accomplish the great feat of seeing things in the right perspective, so that one does not overinvest in mundane relationships, so that one can protect one's sanity and not be too disturbed in the mind, approaching life's ultimate end. And it is this uninterrupted aspect which is the goal, unmotivated and uninterrupted. And it might seem as an Herculean task to somehow come to the point of this great achievement. However, there is a saying, Rome was not conquered in a day. So, to come to this point takes a lifetime of devotion. It takes continual investments. One time, Srila Prabhupada was asked, how did you manage to write all these books in such a short time? And Srila Prabhupada would answer, small drops of water wears away the stone. So, small drops of water wears away the stone. So, this is an indication that this loving devotional service unto Krishna, it is small acts of devotion, continually, eternally. Small acts, every day, every second. We can turn to Krishna. We can ask for guidance. This morning we're turning to the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is said to be the literal incarnation of Krishna. So we're turning to the book Krishna. And we're looking for inspiration. We're looking for hints, small hints along the way, so that we might continue with our investments in devotional service. The compounding effect, right, of the financial people. They compound their investments so that over time the culminating effect makes for a great fortune in the end, right? So we should take some inspiration from the Bhagavatam and not be deterred in our motivation. There's so much distraction going on in this world of social media and scrolling. It's easy to become distracted. However, Krishna is also in social media. You can find Krishna anywhere. There is not a single thing in this world which is not a part of Krishna's energy. Although it might be his impersonal aspect, still, there is a hint in everything that behind the structure of the material world is the Lord, Sri Krishna himself. And it is the mission of life to find him out. And it was said in the purport that it is a gradual process. So, gradual, yes, but once started, it is unceasing. Krishna is so kind that once you refocus on Krishna, once you again turn towards Krishna and try to somehow serve him. Small things. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya pranashyati. Small things, a glass of water, a flower, a small leaf like a salad or anything. Then Krishna becomes so obliged to that devotee that he promises to forever protect and guide him. So it's so wonderful. And having Krishna on your side, having Krishna as your backup, there is not a single thing in this material world which can actually block your way, block your path home back to Godhead. Of course, being on a beginner's level, we might, lose sight of the goal at times. We might doubt our ability to serve Krishna. We might not have the full picture of existence. We might not have come to the point of transcendental knowledge. We might still be struggling with the mind. We might be in a diseased condition, in a strained relationship. There could be war, famine, a hurricane in our local community. And these are certainly impediments up to a certain point. But the goal is to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep chanting, keep chanting. Keep reading the Bhagavatam, keep reading, keep reading. We're now in the first canto of the second chapter. And there are 12 cantos and many, many chapters. There's 18,000 verses. We've now been reading a handful up to this point. But our humble goal is to continue the reading. And of course, once we eventually finish the reading, then again we will start again. And although we might read the Bhagavatam for a second time, we might find new inspiration, new hints. The Bhagavatam is fathomless. There's unending depth to the expose of Krishna and his qualities. So, let's say you have great brain power, and you can start to pinpoint the qualities of Krishna. Only problem is the next second, these qualities have expanded unlimitedly. Krishna is so great. So, and then your endeavor would have been useless. I mean, maybe not useless, but it is not the recommended path. The recommended path is to try to just serve Krishna in any way possible, using one's abilities, one's mind, one's intelligence. And it does not really matter if you're a money man. You can make money for Krishna. You can support the temple, support Krishna conscious activities, support devotees. You could travel to holy places. If you're a warrior like Arjuna, you could fight for Krishna, the righteous battle. At least you could fight your own internal battle, like it's described in the Quran, which is a term which has been somewhat misunderstood in our day and age. Jihad, the holy war within, against your own demons, against your own lower nature. You might be a great brahmana. You might be able to read many books, have a great mental capacity. You might be able to instruct others and guide them. You might be able to become a great example for others. And you might be a Shudra, a simple person, a worker, someone who is content with just serving others, just doing your part as a spoke in the wheel. You may even be a Chandala, a lower person, a Yavana, a Rakshasa. It does not really matter. Anyone can chant Hare Krishna. Anyone can do something for Krishna. You can bow down before the deity. You can bow down before the Vaishnavas. There's unlimited, unending opportunities to serve Krishna every moment. So we should not be deterred. Krishna consciousness is in essence very simple. It's just about trying to approach Krishna, asking Krishna for guidance, trying to just serve him in any way possible. And in this way there is great hope in devotional service. There's great hope with Bhakti Yoga. We can feel confident as devotees. If you chant Hare Krishna, you're basically liberated. There is now only some time in between now and going back to Krishna, and the length of time or the that it will take to come to that point, that is up to Krishna. He will arrange things as he sees fit. He's very wise, so he will make an analysis of our situation, and then he will effectively make arrangements on our behalf. Imagine, Devi Hiesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya. Krishna controls the material energy. What can we say? He can arrange unlimitedly for our benefit. There is nothing which is beyond the scope of his great power. Imagine having Krishna as your friend. You're forever secured in life. There is actually no more worries. You can rest assured that once you have Krishna on your side, all is well. All is well in life. And whatever remnants of difficulties and sufferings come along the way of life, the ups and downs, these are minor obstacles. These are details. On the whole, as a devotee, big or small, one can feel safe in the embrace of devotional service. And in this present Kali Yuga, in the golden age of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his Panchatattva, we have our Srila Prabhupada, who has come amongst us and given his purports so that we might access this wonderful book, Srimad Bhagavatam. It has been made available for us, and if we can muster in our heart some token gratitude, some token of humility, this will not go unnoticed. This will not go unnoticed. And the more these books are spread about, the more this chanting is spread, the more people who are given access to this wonderful knowledge through the books of Srila Prabhupada and the chanting of Hare Krishna, the more we will see that the world will change. It might seem impossible or fantastic at the present point in time. There is definitely quarrel and hypocrisy. There can be no doubt. But Krishna promises that he will take away all sinful reactions. We should not fear. So it's a good reminder this morning, and the best way to keep reminding ourselves is to, as much as possible, stay in the association of the devotees, because they are themselves constant reminders of our real inherent nature, our spiritual nature, and they're practical examples of the process of sustaining our spiritual existence, Sanatan Dharma. So we shouldn't worry too much. We should be confident. Keep chanting, keep reading, and then eventually everything will turn out all right in the end. So, Hare Krishna. Is there anyone in the assembly of the Vaishnavas who has some comment or maybe a question? Prabhu? Something that struck you, or something that...
There were a few thoughts along the way, but nothing, needs sharing. I think you touched on everything.
Right, so you're happy.
I'm satisfied.
That is my great success.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you again in a week's time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.